Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is Eric with My Glide Rides, and as promised, we're going to start reviewing the top 25 most asked questions about Sturgis. So if you've never been, or if you have been, stick around and let's go through these together, and we'll get to them right after this. Cheers. Well, here we are. Glad y'all joined us back today. Got a little bourbon pour tonight going on here with the old Fitz. So cheers to everyone tonight. And like I said in the intro, we're going to start reviewing the top 25 most asked questions that I've been asked either via emails or comments in my Sturgis series videos. So with that said, I have got them laid out. Not really in any particular order. Let's see here. So I have got these, let's see. So again, I appreciate you stopping by, and you know, this is for newbies. Last year was our first trip to Sturgis, and I learned a lot. I thought I was prepared, but I don't think you really ever are. So we learned a lot of things, and I was able to take some advice from stuff I've watched and read, and just, you know, anyway, we'll go through them right here. I've got the questions listed right here on my phone. And so let's get started. So there's 25 of them, and this will take about 25 minutes or so. So I'd appreciate it if you'd stay to the end of the channel. My beautiful wife could not be in here tonight, but she's here on the camera or on the screen. So anyway, number one, probably one of the most asked questions. What exactly is I would say the number one ask. It was probably one of the, you know, people know what Sturgis is, but is it just in Sturgis? That was probably one of the biggest things. And so no, is the Sturgis Rally just in Sturgis? No. This rally is so big, 800,000 people, I think, is what attended 2025 last year. Thereabouts, give or take a few hundred. But no, it is so spread out. And that was one thing that really impressed me was I know it was crowded, but I never felt like 800,000 people were trying to get in downtown Sturgis. So, you know, you've got Deadwood, you've got, everybody's out on rides, you know, Rapid City. It's amazing how spread out this rally is. So no, it's not just in Sturgis, and don't worry about that. So number two, do you need to ride a Harley to go to Sturgis? No, just ride what you brought. Harley is the predominant bike out there. You got Indian, you'll see Moto Guzzi's, you'll see a lot of Hondas, people driving all kinds of stuff. So it really don't, you know, I know it's a motorcycle rally, but there's there's slingshots and razors and all kinds of stuff out there. So no, don't worry about that. So number three, how crazy does it really get compared to what you see online? Well, I'm gonna put a couple of my videos, one up here and one up here. I would suggest you check those out. It can get crazy. But there's a lot of just peaceful areas too. So if you're into partying, they've got it. If you're not into partying, they've got it. So definitely go downtown Sturgis at night. Deadwood's another phenomenal place in the evenings. I like Deadwood probably as much, if not more, than I did Sturgis. So downtown Sturgis. Number four. Is Sturgis safe for the first timers and couples? Yes. However, like anywhere, you can get yourself into some trouble if you are not aware of your surroundings, or be doing something that you probably shouldn't be doing. So there's a lot of chaos, a lot of stupidity, I'm sure, that goes on during the rally. We didn't stay real late in the evenings, you know, not much really past 9. We had another, you know, downtown Sturgis is about a 20-30 minute ride back to Deadwood. So, you know, again, at night, it's not the best time to be riding anyway out there with the wild animals and stuff like that. So, and of course, the longer you stay out, the more drinking and more potential of people drinking and driving. But anyway, but yeah, it's safe. Another big one that I got asked is, where should I stay? Hotel, campground, cabin, Airbnb, VRBO. I tell you, so we booked last year. Actually, we booked the day after the Sturgis Rally 2024 for the 25 rally. We found a house through Airbnb right downtown, almost downtown, quarter of a mile out of downtown Deadwood. Perfect location. You could walk downtown Deadwood if you wanted to. And like I said, 20-25 minute ride out of Deadwood over to Sturgis. So, and then it's really centrally located. But you know, there's tons of cabins, there's tons of campgrounds. You can tent camp if you want to. Obviously book early. And if you're watching the video now's not early. We're what, 7 months away from the rally, roughly, a little less. So, the longer you wait, the lesser of the selection of places to stay. Hotels and that kind of stuff fill up fast and first. So you might have your heart set on a cabin or a house, but you might have to end up tent camping. So anyway, that is one of the questions. How far advanced do I need to book lodging? As I said, further out the better. There's still stuff out there now, but the prices are extremely high. So it's best if you've got a couple couples that can go in there and maybe rent a house and split the cost. That is hands down probably one of the best deals. The house that we stayed in, we got for just under $2,000 for the 10 days that we were there. And that was kind of unheard of. And it was a one bedroom, but it would sleep, I think, 4 or 5 people. And we actually had our own little private carport area that I could pull the bike into. So that was really nice. That worked out great. So number 7, do I really need rally passes or tickets to attend Sturgis itself? Absolutely not. The rally itself, obviously, is free. There is some things you need to pay to get into, such as the concerts. One thing I would suggest buying ahead of time is we bought what they call the bus. And again, there's some videos that I talk about that. So it's a bus system that operates between all the major bars, Buffalo Chip, Full Throttle, Deadwood, Sturgis, and some other places around. But it's just an old, they're old airport type buses that have been converted to basically a party bus. So you can buy tickets on them. You can buy the whole pass to where you can ride it as much as you want. Now, it's much slower than riding your car or bike or whatever, or a taxi or an Airbnb, or excuse me, a Lyft or one of those. But again, you don't have to worry about the drinking and the driving. So that's a big plus. But really, passes, no. To get into the concerts, you do. Personally, we liked Full Throttle was our favorite bar, and we loved just hanging back more in the general admission kind of, not even general admission, just kind of the free area. It's where more of the bars are. Michael Ballard had completed all that new section last year, but it really there wasn't a whole lot of people out there. So, personally, I don't think it's worth the price of the passes. Like at Full Throttle, there's a community pool. If it's warm enough, you can get in the pool even without one of those wristbands. So that's at the Pappy Hoyle Hotel. So every place, like Buffalo Chip's, getting back to the rooms and stuff, the Buffalo Chip and Full Throttle, they all have those big, large campgrounds that you can rent cabins and tent spots and that kind of stuff. So what should I pack that people don't think about until it's too late? Well, hydration drinks, those packets like like a Gatorade packet or those electrolyte replacement things. We found ourselves going down to the dollar store in Deadwood several times to get those. Excuse me, just because of the drinking the night before. Those, and take your rain suit every day. However, We never used our rain suit. Well, one time we did when we were at Mount Rushmore, only because the fog came in. It wasn't raining; it was just very heavy fog. But it will rain at some times when you're out there. And typically the rally's usually wet, but our weather was very, very phenomenal. I mean, it was very nice the whole time. I think we got 20 drops rained on us when we was riding Van Ocker Canyon. So that's that. So hydration stuff, Tylenol, Advil, and then put that on the bike. And that way you can mix that with water and stay hydrated. That's the big thing. So what's the weather like in the Black Hills during the rally? So as mentioned, it will rain. I don't think there's been a rally that it has not rained in. I know 2024 or 2023 was nothing but almost rain every day, all day. Again, we looked up, the weather was perfect out there. We had lows in the 50s and maybe 40s, and then the highs were in the 70s. So there was times where, you know, and again, don't shoot me, Raina would ride in shorts and a tank top. So that's how warm it got. But there's a video, if you'll go through all my Sturgis videos, where I look back kind of southwest in downtown Deadwood, and the skies look very ominous, very crazy. But it didn't rain on us while we were there. One night late, like after bedtime, it rained, but we wasn't on the bike, so I don't count that. Are the rides worth it, or is it just mostly partying? You can do either, but the riding is phenomenal. And I'll tell you, we're a big island people. We like going to the islands, and my wife has always said that's God's country, is the islands. But time after time when we were riding out there, she said this is truly God's country. So I'm telling you, man, if you haven't gone out there, take your bike and go. That is some unbelievable scenery, nothing like you've ever seen before, especially if you're from the South. But yeah, definitely the rides are worth it for sure. Just the trip in itself, the rides are worth it. So what are the most roads, the most ride roads? Well, obviously Spearfish Canyon, Van Ocker, Canyon Road, Lead Mountain, Needles Highway, the what do you call it? The Badland Loop. That's a great ride, although we didn't get to that. And also down into the Custer State Park. So I would, which we did not get into. Speaking of the rides and must-ride areas, plan for long rides. So for the ride out to Devil's Tower is a phenomenal ride. It's not like a loop. You can really go multiple ways. We went out of Deadwood and went up that way, and that was a beautiful ride, but that was an all-day ride. So it was 3 or 4 hours, I think 2 or 3 hours to get over there into Wyoming, and then we were there for a while, ate lunch, and then we came back just trying to beat some clouds that we saw coming in. So, but again, that was a day's ride. When we rode, what else was it? Well, anyway, some of those places are far away. I mean, like if you ride down to Custer State Park and do that big wildlife loop, that's going to be a day ride. If you go down to the Badlands, that is definitely a day's ride. So if you want to see a lot of riding, ride, and then you can come back in at night and party if you want to. But we kind of broke it up. We sometimes we would start out late, like midday, and go ride some short rides like Spearfish Canyon. I would highly recommend doing that, and do those roads in both directions. So it's totally like a different vibe when you do it one way, and then maybe the next day you're coming around, come back down it the other way. So anyway, is it better to ride every day or pick a few key days? Well, one, weather is the big issue there. If it's forecasted pretty, just ride wherever you want to and ever how much. I would say ride some at least every day, but now if you're just into getting out and walking around and just spending the day people watching like we did, we would ride from Deadwood over to Sturgis and park the bike, and then just go walk the strip a couple times, and grab some beers, go to the next one, grab a beer, sit and wait, drink some water. So no, it's But you know, I would say you've came that far. You need to ride every day to at least see it all. And we rode every day and still didn't see it all. How expensive is the food there? You will find like a $15 slice of pizza. It's a big slice, but I think we got one and split it. But it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. So you're probably, now we went to Legend Steakhouse for her birthday. We were there during her birthday. And I think our bill was, you know, we had nice steaks, and our bill there was $150 because we had a couple drinks and 2 nice meals. So to be there and in that setting, I didn't feel that was bad. But now that's not every meal. I mean, we stayed in the house, so we would pack a lunch and you know, eat lunch out on the road, and then, you know, breakfast obviously at the house. But again, it's really how much you want to prepare and how much you want to be out in the nightlife. So, but typical overall, the price of the food is not that bad. So what's the deal with places like the Buffalo Chip, Iron Horse, Full Throttle? We went to all 3. Was not a fan of the Buffalo Chip, although it was just because it was a bad night. It was raining. Nobody knew where the work there could tell us where to go to find a restroom. We went for the ZZ Top concert, and we just ended up coming back home. We didn't even go to the concert. So, you know, if I go out there again, which I'm sure I will definitely go during the daytime to watch some of the craziness at the Buffalo Chip. But hands down, our favorite bar, as mentioned earlier, was the Full Throttle Saloon. The atmosphere there, never had a problem finding a seat. Didn't wait at all to get any kind of drinks or alcohol. You can again check out my videos to see just how crowded it was. It was crowded, but it's not as crowded as I anticipated it to be after watching other people's videos. Do you need ear protection, concerts and riding? That's up to you. I know, you know, some bikes are louder than others. Sorry, I had to wet my whistle. You know, concerts or not. No, that to me, that's kind of a silly question. But anyway, what should I know about riding etiquette, group rides at Sturgis? Ride your own ride. I personally would never ride in a group of people that I don't know. That's just me. You don't know their riding style. So, yeah, we enjoyed riding by ourselves. That's what we did. Now, if we ever went with a couple out there, then sure. I'm actually a member of an MC. And, you know, we ride in a group, but we've rode together for quite some time. So we know our riding styles. So anyway, I just wouldn't join a group of people out there and go ride with them. That's my personal opinion. So, are there things for first timers should absolutely not do? No. If you're going out to Sturgis, your mindset is that you're going there because you know it's fun and there's a party. There's things to go ride and see. God's beautiful country. I tell you, that country is amazing out there. So, no, obviously don't go walk down some little side streets by yourself if you're female. No. Some of the campgrounds can get pretty crazy from what I've seen and heard, but again, I walked the street all the way down into Deadwood late one evening to go get some hydration stuff or Advil or something, and never felt, threatened or any of that kind of stuff. So again, can you enjoy Sturgis without partying all night? Well, of course you can. A lot of the people go out there just for the riding. And as mentioned earlier, the riding's phenomenal. So yeah, get up, eat a good breakfast, go out and ride all day long, come back to your place. And just a lot of places, if you have a house that's near the main drag or somewhere like that, especially in Deadwood, just get you a couple lawn chairs. If the weather's nice, and just sit out there and watch everybody drive by. That's, to us, as much fun as just walking up and down the streets, you know? So definitely think about doing that. If you find a house that's on one of the main streets, just grab you a couple lawn chairs. So what's the best way to capture photos, videos without missing the experience? Well, I'll tell you, You can throw one of these Insta360s on your bike, and then you don't have to worry about missing anything, because then you can, obviously it's video in 360 degrees, so you can go back and if you just want to watch yourself ride, then you can do that. If you want to look around, you can do that with that. So I would highly recommend that. We used this. We used GoPro. We used our phones. So pictures, pictures, pictures. I would take as much of that as you can. I've got so much that I'm trying to get. I've got a 1 terabyte iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I was almost out of storage. That's how much stuff I took on this phone while I was there. So yeah, definitely you can get those. You don't have to get the latest greatest. I've got the X5, not the X or the X4 instead of the X5, and you can get those really cheap now. So so how early should you start rides to avoid the crowds? Well, in heat. I'll tell you this. So we went. So the rally started on August 1st, and we went. So that was a Friday. We got there. We traveled Saturday, Sunday. We got there on Sunday evening. So we hit the ground running on that Monday before that Friday, the start of the rally. So definitely, my personal opinion, go pre-rally, 3 or 4 days. You can get a lot of the riding in, Spearfish, Needles, Iron Mountain Road, all those major roads. Now, they were still crowded. The Needles Highway was some stop and go because you had some people that was too big of cars or something, and they were having to back bikes down to try to get that. But that's nothing like from what I've seen and been told, like 2 or 3 days into the rally when all 800,000 people are there. So I would definitely, again, we didn't leave out early mornings. Now, if you're going to go down to the Badlands and Custer State Park, and Devil's Tower, those all-day rides, then by all means get up, leave by 8, and then get all the way down there. You can ride and then see stuff coming back, and then finish up that evening. So to avoid the crowds, go pre-rally, and then because as soon as that rally's over, all the vendors are packing up. Vendors are all setting up, and most of them were set up on that Monday before the rally 4 days. So there was not a place that I remember that was not set up and open for business. So you can get a lot of the shopping done and riding, or you can shop when the rally's going on if you want to do that, and then ride pre-rally. So highly recommend doing that. That's my probably number 1 tip. What surprised you the most on your first time at Sturgis? I'm going to say that question. That's going to be my last question. So is Sturgis a bucket list once trip or something people come back to every year? It's definitely a bucket list, I think, trip for most everybody that has ever entertained the idea of going to Sturgis. I watched it for years and years and years on YouTube and thought, man, one day I'm going to go there. And so we set our minds to it. And we budgeted, and we went for it. Do I want to go back? Absolutely. It's probably one of the most expensive vacations that we went on, only because of the gas, the lodging, the stuff that souvenirs we bought, between the food. Again, food wasn't crazy expensive. But it's definitely something that we will go back. I definitely want to go back. Just one time to us was not enough. I can see the attraction of people going year after year after year after year after year. Because the riding is just that phenomenal. The party scene, you can see that kind of party scene, Daytona and Texas and up in New England when everybody has their Myrtle Beach when they have those bike stuff. So you can see all that kind of partying type scene if you don't want to travel out there. But that's the only place you're going to see that kind of riding. So that would be the draw for us to come back out there. Now, This is probably the most asked question. What surprised you the most about Sturgis? Well, who knew? Now, I know, again, it's party, okay? One of my main things that I wanted to do, again, so I watched a lot of people's Sturgis videos, and I saw things that I wanted to go do and see and experience. One place that I wanted to go, and I've done a lot of little reels and shorts, and it's on a couple of my videos. Again, I'll put them up here and up here. The links to those videos will be in the description. And the place I want to go to was the Dungeon Bar in downtown Sturgis. So I think on day one of the rally, we were in downtown Sturgis, and crowds were all out, and we found the Dungeon Bar and immediately went down the steps. And it is no more than like going into a dungeon. The ceilings are short, bras and panties are hanging from the ceiling. There's thousands upon thousands of those on the ceiling. Of course, money-lined walls. There's a bar on the left-hand side when you go down, and the craziest thing I saw was a bartender sitting on the bar with her legs thrown over the bar, and two guys there, one videoing. Of course, I had to grab my camera, and I started videoing. She's taking her bra off, her top, and put whipped cream on her, and he's like licking the whipped cream all off of her, with a bare chest. So there's a video of it, so be sure to go check that out. Now, you won't get to see it. I had to blur it out just for the sake of YouTube, but that is a must place to go experience. We went down there, had a few beers, and sat there at the bar and laughed and just took it all in. The next one was at One Eye Jack's. We went there several times, a couple concerts there too. But who knew? So when you walk in off the street, they got all the long bars. There's some inside bar area on the left when you get back in there. And then upstairs, you'll see a big glass area. Go up there and check that out. So when we walk through, you'll see one of the videos if you watch them. As soon as my wife goes through those doors, she gives me a whistle, kind of like, there's girls up there dancing on the poles. So now they got their clothes on, very little clothes. But one of the craziest things we witnessed, not the Dungeon Bar, but there was a couple, when you come up to the top steps, we sat in the very back left corner. There's another bar over there. Of course, there's a big circle bar where all the poles are at. And the girls dance, and then all of a sudden they'll all rotate, and they'll rotate around with the poles. There was a couple sitting to our right at that big circle bar. So there's girls dancing all right there on them. I mean, like, they're drinking and they're dancing on either sides of their glass and, putting stuff in their face. She turned around and put a $5 bill on her face and then laid back on the bar like this, okay? That dancer girl, she went and squatted over that girl's face and picked up that $5 bill without using her hands. Now, you can use your imagination on that, but we turned and looked at each other and then looked back at the little waitress that was working, the bartender taking care of us. And we were like, what? And she's like, so there's all kinds of stuff that goes on there. So if you haven't seen something you want to see, just stick around and it will happen, I promise you. But One Eye Jack's is a really cool bar too. We did go to that several times. I will tell you, do I have it in here? So there's a Sturgis cup that you can buy. I guess I took it in. But there's a clear Sturgis cup that you can buy. I forgot how much it is, 10 or 15 bucks. But that allows you to walk with beer up and down the street. And beers you can find every day, all day long, from little vendors out there on the thing, $4 a beer. You can buy a bucket of beer. We went to Loud American and sat there and watched the bands, and people watched there with a bucket of beer. Again, it wasn't expensive, not for what it is. So not like we went to one country concert that was $60 for 6 beers. It's not that, by no means. What other tips. So that's the questions that I've got asked. So I hope some of that helps. Again, Sturgis is a must go-to place. I promise you, you will never regret it. Bring cash. Don't take all that cash with you. Store it somewhere safe while you're out. One thing to do, I mentioned earlier in one of the questions that we ate lunch out on the road. There's beautiful scenery spots to stop for lunch, picnic type stuff. So I bought a saddlebag cooler, and we use that. So I would go out in the mornings, put that saddlebag cooler in, we'd get a couple sandwiches, some jerky, waters, a couple beers in there that we can have on the side of the road, and it would keep ice in there all day long, which was really cool. So it was a Kimimoto bag, not sponsored by them by no means, but that worked very well. That's probably one of the big tips that I would recommend doing that. So, but yeah, definitely get the cup, get you a saddlebag cooler, sunscreen. Definitely carry sunscreen, and again, we took both style helmets. We took our full helmets and then our half helmets, and we rode all the time with our half helmets on. Of course, you do not have to ride with a helmet out there, but we don't do that. So we always ride with some form of helmet. I know the half helmets aren't a whole lot of help, but that's what we do. But anyway, hey, I want to appreciate y'all stopping by. Be sure to check out my other videos. Be sure to like and comment. I want to know your Sturgis experience. So drop a comment down below. And hey, if you like the video and it's helped, give me a super like. That is something that I've now recently been able to do with YouTube, and it helps me out as a small channel and a growing channel. So definitely do that for me. I would really appreciate that. And you know, this camera gear and stuff is not cheap. But anyway, be sure to check out my videos. Thanks for stopping in this evening, and stay tuned for the next coming videos. I've got some rides coming up, and I'll be getting those out shortly. So again, thank you all, and cheers everyone, and good evening.